Good afternoon, everyone. Um, this was a very, very difficult speech to prepare for me. I've been looking everywhere, and it really seems that we spent the whole year trying to make your lives miserable, and that's not a very good place to start from. We've been very difficult in terms of the use of nematicides. We've restricted them, but you have to be fair. Those things are on their way out. We need to have a plan to get rid of them because they won't be there in only a few years. So we need to do something about it. And I think it's being done. I think this is working out. We have the Action for Cleaner Water group, and it's the same thing. Every time we insist that use a little bit of this, a little bit less of this, a little bit less of that, make sure that we put less on the fields. But again, if you're fair, you see that the water has never been better, that this has actually given results. And then, of course, there's the island plan. So it's the same here, quite a few changes. But again, you have to be fair. We're trying very hard to make sure that there's a preservation of agricultural land. Yes, we've given a few fields to building, but they are at the same time trying to deal with the housing crisis that nobody can deny, and trying to reinforce the villages, which is not a bad thing if you think in terms of agriculture and all the land in Jersey. We've also tried to help with diversification. We understand that farming goes through transformations, so at the same time as we try to preserve agricultural land, we also try to help with diversification. And also the reuse of agricultural buildings. That was something that was pretty much impossible until the new plan, and it's something that is becoming possible in the new plan. If there are buildings that really don't have an agricultural use, instead of raising them, which is what was in the plan before, now they can be reused. So yes, very difficult for me to find a few small things, but I think there are positive things is what we've done with agriculture this year. A completely separate subject, but something which is close to my heart. It may not be true of all of you, but I found you a little bit defensive on the notion of carbon neutrality. There have been attacks, and agriculture has been put on the list of the industries that contribute to global warming through carbon emissions. And I think this is extremely unfair. One example is cattle, and I understand that you're going to have an excellent talk on this in a few minutes. But everybody's talking about methane emissions from cattle. And I quite disagree. It all depends on where you put the baseline. If you say, what we want to go back is prehistoric emissions, then what about all the grazers? So now we have cattle, but we used to have woolly mammoths, the woolly rhinoceros. There used to be, millions of bison in America. They were grazing the land. They are part of the ecology. They're a very important part of the ecology. They just produce as much methane as cows produce now. So you're not guilty of producing methane. You just have the base level, but you do have an opportunity of reducing it. So it can only get better. It's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. And I think that agriculture should be regarded as a net positive player in carbon neutrality. And that's a very different way to look at it. So be optimistic on that. Be less on the defensive. Some people are attacking you. They probably make meat-free products, or there might be something else in it. But you really don't need to be defensive. Agriculture is part of the solution. It is not part of the problem. Thank you very much.